What's going on, my freaks, geeks, and free thinkers? This is Mike Romanelli with the FreeThinkers Society with Mike Romanelli, episode 32. Today we have a special one, but sitting across from me, we got my man, Clint Esposito. Clint, what's going on?
Not much. I'm excited about letting everybody hear this
Episode?
we just did. Dude, well, go ahead. Finish your intro. and then we can get into...
You go ahead.
This is the first time we've actually done the podcast and sat here and done the intro for it. But very surprising. Like...
This guy blew our mind.
Doesn't sound crazy at all. A lot of shit.
He sounds pretty fucking normal. I had some of those... I've been preparing. I don't prepare, guys. I'm sorry. Most of you all know. You're not fans. You're listeners. Most of you know because I talk to most of you through social media. I don't prepare. You know, Clint and I, we just fucking go off the dome. I prepare for this one. I had all the questions. I went through the questions so fast. It was like playing a video game. I just shot every piece of ammo I had, and it was all gone.
It's like when you have a Nerf gun.
Yeah, like every dart was
One
gone.
of those machine Nerf guns.
Yeah,
and
every
you're
dart
just
was gone.
like,
Now the big kid was like, "Rah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell
but
you, motherfucker." But he was, you know,
he opened like that as well. He opened hard
yeah,
and was just like, I don't know. He goes, hey. He basically opened up with like 2 minutes of just like everything that you know about the Earth explained to you like it sounds stupid.
Yeah, it's a lie. And listen, if you're a free thinker and you think about stuff like flat Earth is a topic, it's a hot topic, and it gets people very upset. And the reason why I wanted to speak to somebody that was an expert is because I want to know, why is that such a hot topic? Those topics interest me, you know?
Well, what he said about that is true. Like, just the fact that this is what you've been told forever, and now all of a sudden they're like, hey, guess what? That's not really how it is. Like, look at everybody right now, you know, with with getting their shots, you know?
No, you blew my mind on
so
air. You blew my mind on air. Dude, I don't know, was it 2 or 3 episodes ago? When I was talking to you about, I'll never forget that moment in my life. I don't know what episode it was, but when you said about the vaccines, you remember that? When I was
what did I say?
You know, I was being Mr. Positive.
Oh.
And you were like, what with the vaccines? Remember that? And you were saying, well, what about everyone rushing to the vaccines? And I was stumped for a second. I think it was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, they're going to do the exact same thing with gun confiscation.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I'm not.
They're going to be like, okay, sorry, here you go, take off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you... Listen, the whole reason for this podcast was I always just wanted to speak to other people that had crazy opinions or were experts on crazy, if you call them crazy ideas, right? And I'm never going to be the gotcha, at least, I'm not going to speak for Clint, but at least on this podcast, it's never going to be a gotcha moment. This guy on this episode, I hope you have fun listening to it. There's no gotcha, even if I tried. He was ready for the gotcha moments, even though that's not ever going to be this podcast. Yeah, he was ready.
He had like
whatever we spoke
70
about,
slides.
He was ready. Whatever he brought up, he was ready. I almost feel like I wasn't prepared enough. I hope you guys like it. David Weiss was quite the interview. I hope to have him on again. We tried to get him a little bit longer than how long we got to interview him, but he's just a busy man. I mean, that is the flat Earth guy. Like I said, I hope you guys listen to it. Anybody in the tri-state area, the dojo has been on fire. Please come. Hit me up. Any people I speak to on social media, like, you guys know, like, this place is your place. Come by, and I've taken care of any of our listeners that want to come to dojo. Like, right, the comedy shows have been on fire, right, Clint?
Yeah, they've been really good.
Yeah, I mean,
last week we had Keith Purnell.
Yeah, Keith Purnell crushed.
There was a party in there. Everybody was having a hard time, and I said, wait till Keith get up. He's not going to have a hard time, and he did not disappoint. He killed the room.
It's a dojo comedy. We have Rich Voss here this weekend, and then a crazy 420 show. If you live even an hour away, you need to drive out here for 420. We have Mark Norman. I mean, it's gonna be some kind of show. I can't even. imagine what kind of 420 show we're gonna have here. But yeah, the dojo's been on fire. Another thing I want to before we get into this, guys, she's not a sponsor of ours, but I am a big fan of her product, Kush Creams. Check out Kush Creams. She's a Cannabis Cup winner. She is a fighter when it comes to truth and when it comes to the cannabis industry. Check out that product, Kush Creams. Like I said, not a sponsor, nothing free from her, but I just want any of our listeners to check her out. Kush Creams is just it's where to go when it comes to any kind of cannabis related products. Her creams, like I said, won the Cannabis Cup. I don't know which year, but it has an award for it. And she's just doing some crazy stuff for truthers and just people in general. Forget about truthers, just for people, for humanity. She's doing some stuff. And then Clint, obviously, we want to talk about Hero Soap.
Yeah, of course. Like always, this episode is brought to you by Hero Soap. If you like freedom and you like to be clean, right? Isn't that's what the commercial says? Then you got to get Hero Soap. It is sourced and made in the United States, owned by an Air Force veteran. If you get a subscription, your first order is matched and sent to deployed military members, and also they do donate to first responder and veteran charities. So, and we have had the soap before. No parabens, no chemicals or anything like that. Works really good, smells great, and it's a good cause. So go to herosoapcompany.com. You can get 20% off by using the code FreeThinkers with an S. All right, people, enjoy the flat earth insanity. You're going to be messaging us being like, hey, that guy's not quite wrong, I don't think. Also, go freethinker.tv. Later.
Doodling in Etruscan, addicts of drugs not yet synthesized, black marketeers of World War III, excisers of telepathic sensitivity, osteopaths of spirit, investigators of infractions denounced by bland paranoid chess players.
What's going on? So we have my buddy here, David Weiss. David, what's going on? How are you? So happy to have you on the FreeThinkers Society. What's going on, my brother?
Love the name of the podcast. Let's see how free thinking everybody is here.
And we try to keep our minds open. I want people that are going to tell me the most craziest shit and have our minds open. We don't judge anybody here. Yeah. And our mind is open. This is an interesting topic.
Open mind is good. Just make sure your brain doesn't fall out. But you want to hear some crazy shit?
Yeah.
So some crazy shit is that we're on a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum. It's moving in 4 different directions at once, where there's gas balls in a vacuum that have so much gravity, they're holding on to rocky balls that are millions of miles away, and they all go in a perfect pattern and repeat themselves. Is that crazy enough for you?
That's pretty fucking crazy.
That's pretty fucking crazy, right? And that we can see things that are trillions of miles away, where their angular size at a fraction of that distance would be so small you couldn't see it. But we believe all of that. We believe that the dusty, dirty ball that we call the moon can reflect sunlight back to Earth so bright that we can read by it. The dusty, dirty ball can reflect light so back 238,000 miles that we could read by it in the middle of nowhere. That's some crazy shit.
That's some crazy shit.
Right?
Yeah.
That the Georgia Guidestones have a hole in them. Yeah. When you look through it, it looks at the North Star. For the last 40 years, the North Star has never moved out of that hole. Oh. But meanwhile, we're twirling, whirling, spinning, and traveling trillions of miles, but somehow the North Star never moves from that hole.
We're going too fast, too quick. So that's funny, Dave, because you know what? I've lived in the same place for 20 years, and every night I get home past 10 o'clock, and I look up, and what do they call it? Orion's belt is always above my fucking house.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but tonight's the new moon, and that makes no sense. How is it always above my fucking house? I don't understand that.
Tonight's the new moon. Damn. So
No, I don't know if tonight
guys-
is. I'm just saying, but like, you know, my
well,
friends.
we're close enough. You're familiar with my app, right? The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app.
Mhm.
So, do you have it?
I don't have it, but
But every month, every 28 days, I get a whole bunch of emails. My app's broken. There's no moon. It's because there's no moon. I'm like, just wait a couple days. It'll come back. Every month it happens.
all right, we went way too fast too soon. But that's
All right,
okay.
go ahead.
Hold
You
on.
want to hear some crazy shit?
I do.
figured I'd
I
talk
know.
about
I
the
know. I know.
heliocentric
It was
were
a good
speaking.
setup.
It was a great intro. But Dave, the question is. The first question is, why? Why do people get so upset when you even just bring up flat Earth?
Yeah, because nobody likes having their ball taken away. And we were programmed before we could think that the Earth was a globe. You had space planets on your wallpaper as a kid, and mobiles over your crib that were planets. And the Sesame Street is all about globes, of the Yip Yaps with their moon and Mars skits. You go to school, your teacher has a globe in the front of the class. The first worksheets that you were doing are the planet orbits, right? Then all the cartoons, all the movies, they're all about space and rockets and spacemen. And then when you tell somebody that the entire foundation of their world is a lie, they can't handle it. Their egos just take over, and many people just can't fathom that big of a lie. But it's there.
Well, that's fucking true, man. I mean, I have two little ones at home, and you're right. Everything is space. You ask my son, what does he? And I try not to bring my kids too much up, but you ask him, what does he want to do? I'm going to go to Mars someday.
Yeah,
And
no
it's
one's
it's
going to
cute.
Mars.
No, it's cute. It's cool, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's like he's 5.
How old are your kids? 5.
He's 5, and it's programmed. I'm going to Mars.
Did he learn about dinosaurs yet in school?
Oh yeah, it's dinosaurs and all that stuff.
So
I mean,
so that's the first thing they teach kids about dinosaurs and what killed the dinosaurs. An asteroid, right? What
Yeah.
does that do to the psyche of a kid? It just puts the core of their belief system that we could be taken out on an asteroid by any moment. They control us with fear, and they get in to our deep inner mind before why it's developing. And we have fear of asteroids,
yeah,
fear of all of global warming and running out of food and running out of water, running out of fuel.
Scarcity.
It's all nonsense.
all scarcity.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Okay. So that gets you why are people so upset? Okay. And that makes sense, and that's what I would think would be the answer to that. Why do you think big tech is censoring flat Earth as hard as they are?
Well, all the big corporations, all the big tech, they're all, closely tied to the elite. They are essentially the elite, and that's how they control us. They don't want us knowing the truth of our world because we'll take our power back. The way they keep us under control is they have us in a prison that doesn't have any walls, and that prison is a prison for our mind. It's the globe, and that way we're trapped in this prison, and we never really find out who we are, where we are, or what we are. They have us spinning out of control, lost in space.
Spinning on a rock, out of control. I fucking
So
love it.
I don't want to jump ahead of
go
your.
ahead.
Well, I have so many questions.
I know,
now.
me too.
Because if it's not space, then what's going on past the planet, or what's the darkness, or whatever the thing is,
Okay, Clint.
or atmosphere?
Clint, let's introduce. He doesn't. Clint is a. He's my co-host. He's an FMX rider. He's been hit a couple times in the head. Hold on, let's.
Right.
Let's.
Sometimes they function better with that when that happens.
Yeah, hold on. So what were you asking, Clint?
Well, so then he said, basically, you're talking about space. Do you believe that there's something beyond the atmosphere, or are we just?
I believe that space, what we call space, is liquid.
Nice.
And as you get up, I think it's around 300,000 feet that the air becomes thicker, and it becomes a thicker medium, and then it turns into liquid, and then it becomes solid. And that solid part is the dome, and the sun is being projected through that lens, through the waters, into our reality. So the sun that we see right here is literally right above the clouds. It's local. You can see its light is local to these clouds. It's not 93 million miles away. This is a balloon at 120,000 feet. And the sun circles around the flat Earth within the dome. So here we go. The sun just circles around in between the tropics.
Okay.
And getting into what's going on above our head or what's going on beyond Antarctica is stuff that we can't verify ourselves, but we can show you, we can explain how it works, but that's all interesting and actually very useful. But if you want to prove the shape of the Earth, you don't, look up at the lights in the ceiling and describe the shape of your floor.
True.
Because things could be round above us, but we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the things we see in the sky are not what they tell us. For example, this is Mars. This is what Mars really looks like when you take a consumer super zoom camera and zoom in on it.
Okay.
It's an energetic light within the Earth system. You have to believe that, when you're on Mars, the sun is tiny because it's much farther away from the sun. So that tiny sun has to go and light up that dusty ball. If this is Mars. And then that light has to reflect all the way back to Earth. Mm-hmm. And if you guys ever look up in the sky and see Mars, it's brighter than any star.
Yeah.
So how does it look that bright? How does this dusty ball with a distant sun reflect light back to Earth? The inverse square law of light says every time you double the distance, it's a quarter of the brightness. So it would have to be hundreds of millions of lumens to look the way we see it, but it's not.
Wow. Okay. So
about these.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. And these are the questions I've had my whole life. Like a simple question I had was, when you see astronauts in space, why is it all darkness but they're closer to the sun? That was like a simple dumb question, right? I mean, right. That's something that always was like, that seems weird. Like, they're in a spaceship and they're closer to the sun, but everything's black around them, but our whole life is lit up.
And the answer is because the light, it needs something to bounce off of for you to see it. I mean, you can argue this stuff all day, but none of it makes any sense. Yeah. But when you look at astronauts in space, none of it's real. Like, they're showing you this guy's in space.
Yeah.
Remember, his helmet is attached to his suit. His head moves within the helmet. Watch his head. The helmet turns. He just turned his helmet. This is known as claymation. When this is the first spacewalk, right?
Yeah, I know.
This is claymation. It's not a person. This is a clay model.
I mean, look at the way the hose moves there. It doesn't.
Yeah, what about it?
That looks
it
like
doesn't,
Nightmare Before Christmas if I ever saw it.
It doesn't look like it moves naturally.
Yeah, and look, this thing's going 17,000 miles an hour over the Earth, and they're just going to let him float out there for fun on a strap? For what? What's the purpose
There's
of
no
that?
wind. Even
Well,
though
there's
they're
no
going
air.
that fast.
Right, there's no air. And if you ever put something in a vacuum chamber, it explodes if it has pressure in it. How come his suit
how does his head
doesn't
not
explode?
explode? Exactly. How does his head and everything not explode?
That's true. When you go up and there's less, you should try to expand.
Never once has NASA tested one of their spacesuits in their vacuum chamber that they have. That, by the way, the walls are, I think, 11 feet thick, made out of solid lead, so it doesn't explode or implode. They've never tested it having an astronaut in a suit in there. They did test once in a simulation, and they lowered the pressure, not even near a vacuum, and the astronaut passed out. He said the liquid in his mouth, his tongue started boiling, and then he almost died, but before they can open the door and get to him. Oh, wow. But this makes zero sense. It's nonsense. They're faking everything in space.
Flat Earth Dave's making a lot of fucking sense here.
No, I knew it was going to happen, and I knew it was going to come out hot, and he did. Dave, I love it. But let's just...
How about this?
Yeah,
the International Space Station appeared in the 1990s or whatever, and that's when it was being built, but there's not a single photo or video of it being assembled other than this animation. It was never assembled on Earth. It was, to test. It was just made, magically put together. No videos. Now think about it. Mission Control would need a dozen cameras watching every move, telling the astronauts, all right, do this, do that, right? Nothing. There's not a single video of it being built.
I mean,
it makes no sense. And the walls in this thing it's a tin can. How come it doesn't explode?
Yeah, I mean, and I send out a medium rare burger. It's supposed to be medium well, and there's 10 pictures on Yelp. I mean, you're fucking right, Dave. There should be a 1,000 pictures on this
check this
aircraft.
out. All of the vital equipment is on the outside of that thing. How much vital equipment is on the outside of a submarine? Zero.
Yeah.
None of it.
Yeah.
It's all on the inside. And so they go out and they do these 8-hour spacewalks that they show us. And the whole time, if you really watch, they literally like undo 2 nuts with a big, screwdriver.
No,
right? That's 8 hours, 2 nuts. Like what? There's wires out there. There's all sorts of crap. On a submarine, I think it takes like a crew of like 100 some odd people that just do maintenance on SEALs. Okay. And you got, a half a dozen astronauts in this thing that are doing all the maintenance.
I've been thinking.
That's why they explode so much.
I thought that too. All right, so I love all this information. This is awesome. But let's bring it back. Why? Why did you decide that? I'm David Weiss. I'm going to decide that the Earth is flat. Like, why? What made you think about this? Why? Why are you here right now in this moment?
Why did I become a flat earther?
Yeah.
Because when I looked for proof of the globe, this is what I found. Okay. This is a picture that they can't delete from Zoom, right? This is what they force you to watch.
Yeah.
Anybody that has an Apple TV will know that they download these fake screensavers of rotating Earth from space. It's all CGI. It's all complete and total nonsense. So how did I become a flat earther? I was asked to prove the globe. Yeah, no, I was told the Earth was flat. I laughed. Everyone, the truth goes through 3 stages, ridicule, anger, and then acceptance. Yes. And I was laughing at it, and then I was just forced to look. And when I looked, I tried to disprove the flat Earth and prove the globe. That's I went into it with a biased attitude, and when I realized there's not even a real photo of Earth.
Dave, that's where I'm at, Dave. When I bring this up, because everybody and their mother who is close to me laughs at the way I look at things, and I
laugh back at them.
When
when you first heard about it, you laughed.
Yeah, you laughed too, but and everything to me is kind of a joke. I mean, I run a comedy room, but with the flat Earth thing, the first thing I always throw at everyone is just show me a real picture of Earth, and that's the first one you throw at them. And what you just said is like, you can't, everything is CGI. There's not a real picture of Earth, and it's changed throughout the decades. Like, it's green, it's blue, it's been a million different colors, but that's not a real picture.
Yeah. People say, I'll show you a picture. You'll just say it's fake. I'm not going to say it's fake. I'm going to show you it's fake. What we did here is, this isn't NASA. We made our own Earth. It's better than NASA's. This is NASA's. This is ours. Which one's better?
Let me see. Hold on.
I think ours is better.
Yeah. No, he was.
Right.
We were. Yeah.
And so this is NASA's. This was the one that was on everyone's iPhone. This is the one that came out with a few years later. Look at the United States. I know we're getting fat, but this is ridiculous, right? And then people say, well, it's just the angle, the aperture, aperture schmaperture.
No, we'll ask
this is, we can measure this scientifically because we can drive it and it's 934 miles. We should be able to fit 8.5 of these in between this diameter of the Earth, and I can't even fit them on this page.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what got me into this. Was this alone? This idea alone? Like, it's not even a thing. It's not even a thing. Right. So that's the first thing that blows your mind. And then, then you start talking about center. What's in the center of the Earth. Why did the ancients talk about flat Earth for so long? I mean, he keep going on.
You want to know
Antarctica,
what's in the center of the Earth?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. I ask if you want to know why. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either.
Nobody knows, because the deepest they can go is 7.5 miles. And when they dug it, they were checking what they were going to dig into, and they were wrong every step of the way. That's equivalent to drilling halfway through the skin of an apple and then claiming you know what's at the core, which is another 4,000 miles.
Yes.
Right? This is a molten magnetic core. Well, look up Curie point. Curie point is when you heat a magnet, before it melts, it loses all its magnetism. And when it melts, it's completely demagnetized. How do you have a molten magnetic core?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You don't.
So I mean, seven
I'm
and a
not
half.
a scientist, man. I'm not a scientist. Where did you get your degree? The people that get the degrees are the ones that memorize and
Yeah,
regurgitate the
memorize.
nonsense.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
it. And
welcome
then
to the
they end up
FreeThinkers.
teaching the
Yes.
same thing.
Yeah, that's what Clint always says. That's not. What do you always say that
Yeah.
to me?
Well, I like
You
when
say it's
people.
indoctrination.
Yeah, I like when people go to school for politics. I'm like, and then expect to change something.
No,
I'm
he,
like,
said,
good
he just
idea.
says indoctrination. They're not smart. They're just indoctrinated.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I got too into.
so
Yeah.
7.5 miles as far as you can get down. That's interesting. So with the
And
flat,
they hit an impenetrable barrier, like another dome maybe below us. Maybe there's another realm below us.
Realm.
Couldn't tell you. Don't know.
so okay. So at least with your model, or not your, I won't say your model, but with the theories that you've come through, what is in the center of flat Earth? On your model, nothing. You don't know.
In
or-
the center of flat Earth.
yeah, the
so-
center, or like even the center of a flat plane.
We're just like an air
So-
bubble or something. It sounds like.
So the Earth is like, the way I describe it is the Earth is the basement of the universe. Antarctica is bigger than all of the continents and all of the oceans combined, most likely. And there's a low spot in Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on the Earth plane, and there's a low spot, and we fill it with water. And here's the shoreline of that water. We have all these islands, which we call continents. They're surrounded by water, but the water is surrounded by Antarctica. Okay. Antarctica is off limits to everybody. It's the only treaty that has ever held up ever. And you can't even question it until the year 2041, because if you go out here into the outer space across the plane, you will find out that you don't live on a globe. So we live in the Antarctic basin. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. There could be other continents out here.
yeah.
This was in the New York Journal in I can't read the date on there, 18 something. And it shows 50 other continents outside of Antarctica.
Wow, you're okay. So, what do you think happens after the treaty ends in 43?
They kick it down the road another 60 years.
Of course, right? I mean, that was too easy.
Right, but
That was too
I
easy.
actually
I
think
know,
that
but, like, what do
you,
like-
want to hear my dystopian view is
Oh.
I think by the year 2025, no one's going to remember any of this. I think they're resetting everything. There's going to be a
Yeah.
massive die-off.
Transhumanism
And
reset.
then we're just
I
going to
know.
have kids left that are going to be all
That's
indoctrinated
why you gotta teach
and
those
not
kids.
know
Wow.
not know,
Wow, this just took a turn. Okay.
anything.
Wow. The message is always here. Yeah. That's why these kids need to know who we are, who they are, and how important it is. Because, yeah. All right. So okay. Antarctica is a great one. Do you believe?
Yeah.
Have you done any research on Antarctica?
I've done a lot, like, I mean, there's very little that you can find out about it. I mean, there's many
Yeah.
stories about Antarctica. There's, all the elite go down there at the weirdest times. John Kerry went down
Yeah,
there
the
on
weirdest-
election day,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
So what do you think's going on over there?
I think that's where the dome terminates. Maybe there's more lands out there. Maybe there's another paradise out there. Maybe beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is other worlds, extra
Yeah.
territory in the outer space.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe there's another
Yes.
sun and moon out here. Maybe this is where the real elite live. We live in inner Earth. They live on outer,
Yes.
in the outer space on the extra terra.
I was
So-
never a flat earther until right now.
When they're
Fuck
talking
yeah.
about taking, remember we had the conversation about the elites getting rid of the middle class, acquiring all the wealth, and then disappearing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the fuck are they gonna go?
Yeah. Well, it would be here. Yeah.
Boom. There's you got to look up on YouTube or in my app. You can find it under Antarctica, the Iron Republic, and it's a book that was not a book. It was a series of articles in Florida Magazine written in 1901 about a guy that went to Antarctica and made it through like a little he found an opening, and then he was lost at sea, and then he found this land, and there was people there that with in the early 1900s with advanced technology, flat screens, electric cars, things that levitated. And he told all about it in a series of articles. You can't find one of those magazines anywhere, not on eBay, nowhere. They've been completely removed. But the book was written, and it's on YouTube. Somebody read it. I think you can even still buy it on Amazon. But it's just a story without any proof, but it's an amazing story.
Now, have you heard about any? Because I've been diving deep in Antarctica lately. Did you hear about any of these like tropical caverns or any of that kind of stuff when they're there? And
You know, they threw out the hollow earth. I believe
Yeah.
that the hollow earth was introduced when people started questioning what was like, and like Admiral Byrd did a television interview. He said he flew out beyond the poles and he found land bigger than the United States that no human has ever set foot on
yes,
or laid eyes upon, filled with resources, right? So how do you on a ball go beyond the pole? You know, because if you're on the other side of the pole, you're really not beyond the pole. And so I think they came up with flat earth, with hollow earth, just to gatekeep people and keep their minds still in the prison of a hollow ball instead of a solid ball.
oh wow, okay.
Well, that never made sense either, because I'm like, how is it hollow if there's magma inside?
Well, so here's the thing: the magma, it does not come from the center of the earth. The magma is not by the pressure in the heat of the earth. That's nonsense. We live in this electrical system. Our whole world is a giant battery. The sun and the moon are the cathode and anode. The salt water carries the current, and the land is the salt bridge. If you know how a battery works, there's free energy everywhere. There's measurable voltage in the air. 100 at 1 meter off the ground, there's 100 volts. At 2 meters off the ground, 200 volts, and it goes up from there. So all of this electricity is here, and the earth is like the land. Excuse me.
It's all right.
Is a giant capacitor, and the capacitors build up. What happens when you have a large buildup in capacity? Like the dome is a positive, the earth is a negative. When there's a buildup, you get lightning, right?
Yes.
And the same thing happens in the earth, where these capacitors build up, and then you have these electrical currents through the earth. And when you run electricity through the earth, what happens is, you take these rocks, you put them in this ceramic thing. These are two electrodes being put on the end, and you get lava. Okay. So you have lava comes from lava tubes that are parallel underneath the earth. Here's one that's really hard. That is hard for you to believe. There are no giant volcanoes. They don't exist. There's no cone-shaped mountains spewing lava. Whenever you see that on television, they're not showing it to you in perspective. They're showing you a lava tube that has broken free and has made a little hill, maybe 10, 20 feet tall. And there's lavas going down that, and they show it to you without any perspective, and you think it's a giant mountain. Then they'll show you a close-up of a lava pool. Then they'll show you this thing again, and you just assume it's a giant mountain. But there are no mountains that spew lava out the top. Now, Mount St. Helen, there was no lava. That was something completely different. I don't know if that was man-made, with a directed energy weapon, or if that was something that I'm not thinking of. But it wasn't lava. Lava doesn't come from the center of the earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mind's blown.
Yeah. And if you look up lava tubes, there's lava tubes that are empty and you could walk through them, and they're all over. But if in Hawaii, there's lava tubes all over the place. So is that because, these string of islands are just supercharged with energy? I don't know. Think about this. Think about the, solar panels. I was in the solar power business.
Okay.
Scientists don't know how solar panels generate electricity. Did you know that? They don't know. They have a theory that photons come and they hit the boron molecule, and the boron molecule jumps out and another electron fills it in, and it creates this current. The reason, and that's bullshit. The reason they don't understand is because the sun is electric in nature. It is sending electricity to Earth, and the solar panels are just capturing that electricity and running it into channels, running it into currents. It's so simple. It's right in front of their face.
That makes more sense to me, and I've been saying it from fucking day one that it's all right in front of us, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah. It's unreal how simple it is, and people just can't see it.
Listen, man, I'm a chef, and that's like with cooking. It's simplicity is what makes the dish. It's just all about the ingredients, but that's for another podcast, for another day. But yeah, Dave. So, what about all this? The ETs, all of the in the news right now. It's all about not the UFOs, right? And
Yeah.
all these objects
So
in the sky.
what does ET stand for?
Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial. What does extra mean?
I don't know. Better, good, more, a little bit more.
Means
more.
more.
A little more.
And what is terra? Terra comes from territory. More land.
Land.
Yeah.
More land. Extra land. Extraterrestrials.
Yes.
And if this was the inner space, what would you call this?
The outer space.
Extraterrestrials come from outer space
Yeah. Okay.
across the Earth plane.
Wow.
So think about this.
Okay.
We have that they tell us that the sun is giant and the Earth is a little marble next to it, next to this giant ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And if the sun was right next to the Earth, it was a mile over your head, you look up at the sky and you'd see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we move it 93 million miles away. What happens? It gets smaller. Why is it getting smaller? Because it's getting farther away. Perspective, right?
Yep.
So 93 million miles away, the sun is the size of a coin held at arm's length. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back a mile over your head, fills the entire sky, horizon to horizon, as far as you can see. 93 million miles away, it's the size of a coin. If I made it 8 times farther, you think you could see it?
No.
Of course not. You're a thinking man. Very good. And you can scientifically prove it because its angular size would be too small for your eye to resolve.
Yes.
Well, that distance, 8 times farther, is called a light hour, right? A light hour. The closest star is 40,000 times farther.
Oh my God.
And the other ones are way, way farther, magnitudes farther than that. And we can see them with our eyes. That's insanity.
Yeah,
That's retarded.
yeah. You could say that on the show. That's
I
great.
can.
No,
I
yeah,
can.
you
Steph Carpenter from the Deftones has a new line of shirts, and one of them is that hoodies, and one of them that's retarded. And
Yeah,
I
that's
just
all good.
he's sending me one right now.
We
actually.
embrace that. We
Yes.
embrace it. Yeah, we embrace the words.
So what
That's
are
fucking
the
retarded.
so what are the stars then?
Yeah, there you go, Clint. Thank you.
Yeah, you tell me. What are the stars?
I don't know. I don't know.
Look, that's retarded.
Yeah, so, but he's right. Like, what are the stars? What are we seeing above our heads?
Well, they're not burning balls of gas in a vacuum. If we look at the star Arcturus with a super zoom camera, what does that look like?
Ooh,
Doesn't
man.
look like a burning ball 100 trillion miles away.
No, that's some shit I see when I smoke some DMT.
Yeah. Wait, you want here's one. This is Capella. Way better.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
That's like either a bad YouTube channel or too much DMT. One
That's here within our Earth system. Here's a whole bunch of different stars. Kind of looks like underwater a little bit, right?
yeah. Does-
Google star in a jar, where scientists put sound waves into a jar of water and little stars appear in the water. Yeah. The universe was created with a verse, with one verse. It's all about sound.
sound and
Yeah.
and what you say, right? Thoughts. It's
Yeah. Your thoughts create your reality.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. The elite want you spinning out of control, lost in space, don't know who you are. You have no control over your life, living in fear of asteroids, fear of
yes.
aliens, fear of running out of food, which there is no food shortage.
Mm-hmm.
Water, there's no water shortage. Dinosaur juice, there's no need for that. Okay. When I say dinosaur juice, I mean gas, which is nonsense. They want you living in fear, so you give up your humanity. Basically, you give up your divine power rather than knowing that you are at the center of creation. Nobody has any control over you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean that I agree with everything you just said right there.
Yeah.
So what? So they're just hiding all this because we are just so much greater and better than we know. Is that what you? If you had to guess,
They don't want you knowing your true power.
Yeah,
They
your
don't
true
want
power.
you questioning their power.
Yeah.
They have no power over us other than the belief in your mind.
Yeah.
Imagine if everyone just said, "I'm not listening to you anymore." What could they do?
Yeah,
They could do nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
There's absolutely nothing they could do. You know, and people believe that the government is our mommy and daddy, that they're here to take care of us. The complete and total opposite is true. They're here to shorten our lives, to take away our power. And if, you know, whether you want to believe that or not, it's not about belief. It's just look at what's going on in this world right now. And the reason they've gotten away with this entire nonsense is they're controlling our mind with cartoons. They're literally controlling our mind with cartoons.
You're right, man, because that is a cartoon. Like every picture of that, and I'm one of those people, man. Like I've taken a lot of psychedelics and have drank some plant medicine with some tribes and not in some, like, you know, yeah, I've been to the Grateful Dead concerts and dropped acid, but I'm not talking about that. Like I've become part.
I've done ayahuasca with a shaman several times.
Right. So I've been into the tribes. I've done the ayahuasca. And so Mother Earth becomes something better and bigger than, at least for me.
You're part of Mother Earth. You can't live off of Mother Earth. There is no place to go. We're here. We're part of this system. You know, we have these souls in us. Our soul is the spark of life. Maybe the stars that we see are other souls. And then we manifest here with our spark of life in us, with our soul. And we're here to expand the mind of the creator. And we're having this incredible experience. But some assholes hijack the system. And they're literally, you know, trying to steal our souls. They're trying to steal our soul with the soul lure system.
Yes.
Right?
Keep going, Dave. That
with the helio sinister trick.
Yes.
Right? It's nonsense. Here's the thing. Let me show you my app real quick.
We're the energy of this battery, but keep going, man.
Yeah, so we're the energy of this battery, but they use the words, you know, like extraterrestrial.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Right. This is, if you want to learn about Flat Earth, don't Google Flat Earth, because you're just going to end up with the Flat Earth Society. You're going to end up with all of the government-controlled hit pieces, garbage, and you're just going to give up, or you're going to think you learned something, but they trap you. They trap weak minds with their stupid you know, hit piece videos that are all straw man arguments and gaslighting. All right, so in here is what's this area called? This is the North center, Pole. The North, but it's the Arctic, right? So here's the sun. The sun goes around us. So when I'm here, what's the sun doing? It's arcing around me, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's arcing around me.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm out here, what's the sun doing?
Going inside of you.
It's antarcing. It's anti-arcing. It's Antarctica. The Arctic.
Yeah,
the Antarctic.
Yes.
The sun is antarcing away from you. It's coming in and away. This one is arcing around you.
Mm-hmm.
Antarctic.
Wow. So you believe that words go a long way.
Words have so much meaning. Have you ever looked to the rice experiment where you get 2 jars of rice, put water in them, and then you yell at one and, you know, be nice to the other? It's crazy what happens.
Yeah, out of that the Japanese scientist with the plants, where he was speaking to one. Love. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Test question. Were these guys first guys to land on the moon? Hadn't just got back successfully, or did their dogs just get shot?
I mean, it looks more like they're going to put Clint away for some weed he found in the back of the car.
Yeah, why were they so sad?
Because they were being forced to lie. These were the first guys that had to lie. My app has tons of videos, tons of proofs, like when you're trying to show flat earth to somebody. Like this. Check this out. This is from Taiwan to Los Angeles, and Hawaii's out there kind of in the middle. Right about here, there was a medical emergency. Where would you land if you were the pilot?
Hawaii.
Right. Or maybe go to Los Angeles. Instead, they went all the way up to Alaska.
What?
Why did they go to Alaska? The answer is because this is the route. Taiwan.
Oh, shit.
Emergency. Alaska. Hawaii is all the way out here. This is the actual route that they take.
So where is...
yeah, and they say that so that they're not going around the Earth or something, right?
Well, they say that they're doing they call it the Great Circle, right? if you want to go to Western Australia, you go all the way up here. You go all the way over to Europe and Dubai, and then down to here, all the way up. This is the trip that they take. Why would they go all the way to the northern hemisphere and come all the way around? And the answer is because this is the real route. That's the same route. If you want to go to Western Australia, go all the way up across Europe, and Dubai, and there you go, straight line.
Dave, have you ever met anybody who tells you, but I traveled the globe. I went around it.
Well, everyone says the same stupid thing. They say I left New York heading east, and I ended up back in New York. How that's impossible on a flat Earth. Well, no, that's impossible because you've been brainwashed to believe that's impossible when in fact it's the most simple thing to explain. The north is a magnetic center. So here's your boat plane. You got your compass. It's got to point to the north, right? I'm heading west, and you have to keep turning. West is a circle, right?
Yeah.
Your dead reckoning west is a circle.
Yeah.
Dead reckoning east is a circle. Okay?
Okay.
But nobody has gone south and come up the other side.
And that's true?
Nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever gone from Santiago over to Australia, or even just around. We don't want to fly over here because we'll
That's
disturb
true.
the
They
penguins.
never fly
You
that
stumped me. That's never happened.
No one's ever done it. I'm going to show you how bad it is.
Wow,
Right?
that you just blew my mind. I never heard of that. That's real.
No one's ever done it. Well, check us out. Somebody did get the Guinness Book of World Records for the first southern circumnavigation.
Okay.
Right here it is. Started up in Antarctica, in the Arctic, North Pole. They came down here, down in California, out to these islands. Then Santiago. They went to the Antarctica, and then they turned around and came back up, went up through Brazil and all the way back up. And that was called southern circumnavigation. Okay. That's bullshit. And this is what it looks like on a flat earth map. Does that look like they went around a globe?
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
There's a couple of false claims that people claim that they went they went across Antarctica, but that is not the case. For example, in the Flat Earth app, if you hit the question mark and you say, "What about Antarctica and the 24-hour sun?" I think that might be where we're being. These are all the questions that you're going to ask.
Yeah,
but
this
if
is
we
great.
say,
Yeah, here we go.
if we say, what about Antarctica? Up comes the playlist of all about Antarctica. And there you go, Colin O'Brady. And these are videos that YouTube will not serve you because they don't want you seeing this. They're going to serve you all the nonsense. If you say top 10 reasons the earth is flat, they're going to send you a video of the top 10 reasons the earth is a globe, and they're going to try to brainwash you.
I mean, it's
You
crazy.
want to learn about eclipses, you click the eclipses. These are videos that YouTube will not show you. And this shows you, tells you stuff that they don't teach you in school.
It is the censoring is why I gave this this question so much thought, because the censoring, I have to say, really got me, because I'm like, why are they censoring this so much? Why are people getting so angry? If you're getting so angry, I want to look at it, and that is that's for real. I mean, that's really happening.
And for people that think this is dumbest thing ever, I was there, I was you, so I don't hate you right now, but hang there for a little longer, then I'll hate you. But take my Flat Earth app challenge. Watch the daily video. Every day there's a new video on there. Watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks, and then send me one proof of the globe, and I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Ooh, did you guys hear that?
Full
Did you guys hear what
Bitcoin.
Dave just said? Hold up. Rewind. What did Dave just say?
I heard $68,000 or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what
I will give a Bitcoin to anyone that takes my challenge on the app. Watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks, and then send me one proof of the globe. And if you say photos of Earth, send me a photo of Earth. And if you prove the globe, I will give you a Bitcoin, and I think that's $64,000 today.
That's fucking crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a gotcha guy, and I kind of want to figure it out because I need a Bitcoin in my life. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's Dave. That's. I mean, that's
They're
where
lying about
I'm
everything.
at with this. I know, man. I know.
This
Listen.
is Saturn. It was put together in shitty Photoshop. This was before Photoshop.
Yeah, it's
they
like,
don't know how
this
to
is some
flatten
shitty
the layers. They
Photoshop.
don't know how to make a PNG. It's ridiculous. That's the most famous photo of
It's some of the worst
Saturn.
Photoshop I've ever seen.
Yeah, this was before Photoshop, but they didn't know that we were going to take their picture and
Yes,
put it in Photoshop and crank up
exactly.
the level,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where all of a sudden I was like, it was the picture thing. For me, it was the picture thing. When people said that to me, I go, of course. I have a picture on my phone. I have pictures on my screensavers in my house. There's pictures everywhere of the Earth. And will prove to me that's a real picture, and it's not. And I felt like an idiot. And I would have lost the Bitcoin challenge,
Right.
Because there's no real picture of the Earth, and that's the first fucking thing.
Here's a
to
real
get you
picture of a
going.
dinosaur.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you know
movie.
that there was a guy, a royal guy in the 1800s, wrote a paper on speculating that dinosaurs existed. No one had ever found a dinosaur, even when they built the pyramids. They never found a dinosaur bone. But he wrote the paper, and then a year later, to the day, he discovered the first dinosaur.
No shit.
Yeah.
So
And you need dinosaurs for the heliocentric evolution, space fantasy.
how old do you think humans are?
I don't know. I'm 57.
Wait, so do you think that out beyond or outside Antarctica is they're just like us, or do they look different?
I think they speak English.
Yeah.
so.
Why
Is
not?
that the elites that are
Why
just
not?
keeping us in here? They're like, we'll just keep these
Well, this is hell.
assholes
This is
inside
definitely hell.
or purgatory.
I did a talk on my YouTube channel, DITRH, initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. I did a talk. You can just look for it, called "The Outward Flow of Civilizations" with Sophia Smallstorm, and we talk about how the sun migrates in between the two tropics when the sun might, you know what I mean by migrates between the two tropics. So the sun goes around and it migrates in between all the way into the inner tropic of Cancer, and that's when it's our summer because the
Yes.
sun is closer and higher. And then 6 months later, it's out on the Tropic of Capricorn,
Yes.
and Australia is having their summer, and we're having our winter because it's farther away, lower in the sky. Well, what if the sun, and then 6 months later it goes back in? What if the sun one day said, "Hey, screw this. I'm going to the outer space, and I'm just going to migrate out there." So now the sun is out here migrating rather than in here migrating. Okay. So now it's out here. What would happen is all of this ice would melt, right? Let's say this was all ice.
Yeah.
All of that ice would melt. This outer ring would open up, and there would be a massive mud flood in here. Well, if you looked into the mud floods,
No, I never even heard of them, but yeah.
look into the mud floods in Tartaria. There was a massive, looks like worldwide mud flood where everything was buried in mud from the previous advanced civilization that was here in the 1800s and before. So then a new sun is born, and now we have another sun in here, and we have another sun out here. Okay, these are possibilities. Don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's when the Incas and the Mayas and all those people, they picked up and they migrated outwards because their sun left. It's now
Yeah.
freezing, so they went outwards to the new lands,
Yeah, so they would know.
and that's where the Iron Republic maybe came from. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Okay, that's cool, and I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean,
All right, guys.
this is some crazy shit, Dave. Listen, we came in hot. We went all over the place, but that's just what we do here. It was such a pleasure to have you on. You're probably one of the most requested guests of the FreeThinkers Society with Mike Romanelli, and I'm so happy to have you on. I'm gonna if you could wait 2 more minutes before we end, I just want to get on the other side so you could see my face and I could say thank you.
You can't see us. We got no video. I told you.
Oh, there's not on your camera
no,
either?
I told you my computer's.
Oh, well, I'll
screwed up.
FaceTime you
That's all
someday,
right.
Dave. You can see my pretty
All right,
face.
no worries.
But listen, is there anywhere, any besides your app, where can we send our listeners?
Yeah, so the app is the best place to learn about Flat Earth. You can go to the flatearthpodcast.com. All the links are there. If you're looking at this on the computer, just point your phone at this QR code and it'll come right up. The app's $2.99 and it's cheaper than a beer and you have it forever. You don't piss it away in 20 minutes, right?
Nice.
So the app is just read. If you're concerned about paying for an app, read the reviews. It's the highest rated app in the App Store. Everyone loves it. So the FlatEarthPodcast.com, the Flat Earth Podcast Instagram, the Flat Earth Podcast, and my YouTube channel, which is awesome. DITRH, the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. There I have lots of short videos for the attention impaired. All right.
He's
Dave,
talking our language.
I don't know if I don't know if I think that was a subtle jab at our listeners. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, I made them for myself because
Yeah.
I am the intention of
No, I'm just fucking around. No, Dave, you're the man.
Great.
It's been an honor to have you on. I'm so thankful that you would even come on our podcast. Thank you so much, Dave.
No
Like
worries,
I said,
man. Send me a link when this is up, all right? And I'll share it. It'll be on the app. All my interviews are on the app under the interviews button.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See ya.
Dave, thanks so much, man. That was awesome.